All right, welcome. Good morning, the Buck Don't Know Shit. It is another beautiful day in the garage, beautiful day in Texas. The Astros lost to Detroit. Congratulations. They do have our manager, AJ Hinch, so it's not surprising. But anyway, enough about that. What am I gonna work on today? I really don't know. And this makes it hard to edit these videos because I usually like to have a little clip saying what I'm gonna do. And then I go, let's go to work. And then it's like some music plays. And then I come back and maybe talk about some stuff. But I don't know what I'm gonna get into today. We're going to continue putting things on the car. I did get my brake booster, master cylinder installed, so that'll probably be the first thing I do is reinstall these brake lines, get all of that buttoned up again. I've got to find all of those little lines. They're somewhere because I pretty much have everything installed in the engine bay other than a few vacuum lines. Kind of put that off because I want to get the AC plenum in, kind of do all the vacuum line stuff more or less at one time. I think we're just gonna start putting shit inside this car. That's pretty much it. Put park brake and rebuild the AC and heater plenum. So gonna test this little guy. I've got a plan for that. Basically just pull a vacuum on it, see if it holds pressure. And if it does, we're slapping it back in the car. I'm not gonna try to get it repaired or anything. I got a little bit of a mess up here, not terrible, but gonna button up a few things, clean up a few things, and start pulling parts out to go back on this firewall on the inside. So that is the job today. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. Yeah, just go out and do great things today. I hope y'all's day is wonderful. Well, it's in. I don't know. It's more or less lined up with everything. I'm sure as I get components going in here and bolting. Actually, I was thinking that anyway, I'd had this brake bracket in and I was like, well, the insulation goes behind it, but it actually doesn't for anybody that's doing it. If you want to wait, go ahead and get your brake bracket in place. This does cut out around it, it looks like. Okay, my biggest fear has been realized. I put that plenum up in my attic. The Buck don't know attic. Buck don't know what the hell he's got up here. That is for damn sure. And there it is. There it is. Okay, not two pieces. They're not that big and heavy, but it actually feels kind of nice up here today. It's weird. Yeah, so let me drag these down. I did need to come up here. I need to get that guy down too. I don't know if any of y'all have these. If you have 3 of them, you might get one to work. So they're fun to have. They're nice when they're working, but yeah, keeping them working is another story. Let's look back here. It's getting dark, I know. And I don't think you can turn the light on. Oh, I do need this. There's my little accordion vent cover. So that'll go down. There's some armrest, some back seats, console. These are my seats. I never have showed y'all these. Got them recovered. I think they're gonna look excellent. It was super cheap. Yeah, I don't remember the lady's name. We did not speak the same language, either one of us. Like, she didn't speak English, I didn't speak Spanish, but we got the job done. And yeah, I think like $1,200 for all the seats, which I was more than happy to pay. That was like one of the absolute first things I did. So there's my hood brackets, some kind of trim piece, looking at it. That's all trim. That's my back deck. Center console. See, I got things. I think this is pretty much all I have for the Plenum is this up here. And they're actually clean and painted, so that's nice. I think Carly had knocked these out a while back. So let me get them down, see what we can put together. Yeah, so this is the pieces pretty much here. I got one. You see it on the ground over there. I need to clean it. I don't know why I never got to painting it. I'm gonna clean it, get it painted, and then start figuring out the piecing of all this back together. I know this is basically where my evaporator coil goes, fan, heater coil goes up in there, and I think actually this mounts on top of this. Okay, so there it is. I'm actually pulling vacuum on it, and it's getting these air bubbles. But it's right there where you can see the calcium. It's kind of the area I suspected. Yeah, it's definitely leaking. So, call the radiator shop that worked on the radiator and see if he can fix this. Okay, good news. Silsby radiator. It can and do work on these heater cores. So bringing this in the morning, it'll probably take a week, you know, for them to get to it and everything. But I'm going to work probably for another 6 weeks, so it'll be there waiting for me when I get back. My next thing, I'm trying to figure out a way to test, which I watched Joe Arnone do this. So this is my evaporator coil, which I think is okay because the car did still have pressurized R12 or well, I don't know what refrigerant it uses. I'm still learning on that what I'm going to use, but regardless, when I broke the lines, there was pressure on them. Got a fitting for this. You see, that's just the cap, and then this is the one where I thought I had a excellent idea. So another PEX fitting, which that does actually screw into there, and this would be perfect, but this is a, I guess, pressurized fitting. You know, it needs that extra lip down here like the hose has to actually seal that. Now I did see Joe Arnone on his channel. He recently did this same thing, and kind of where I got the motivation, I guess, to do this. And for that fitting on his, it is this fitting right here. Same thread, but it has the compression part down there that actually seals. Of course, it's made up to this hose, which what Joe Arnone did, and I could do, he cut this hose off and used that fitting and spliced some pipe or whatever in here, kind of similar to what I did over there with the heater core. Got down where he could get a nipple that he could get his vacuum pump on. So what he did was cut his hose off and made a fitting in the hose and blah, 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 and pulled a vacuum on it and checked it. I could do the same exact thing, but I only have one hose, and I have not seen one of these pre-made hoses anywhere. Interesting stuff I'm finding out. Just call Bird's Nest and they send me to Classic Air. Call Classic Air, and they said the company they use to make these replacement hoses is out of business. Stop making them. So, and he said he did not know where. I'm sure there are places that can make this. He said they use an O-ring fitting. These are like flared compression fittings, I guess, what you call them. So, kind of like on a brake line or something like that, just bigger. And if a guy knew the names of all these fittings, he could probably find something like that. I don't know. I'm debating and thinking, and basically I'm at the point where if this doesn't work, doesn't sound like there are good ways to repair it, and you kind of have to go to an aftermarket, like what is on Exit 45's video, what he's putting in his Thunderbird. Oh, am I slowly talking myself into buying an aftermarket AC? No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to get this one working. That is my plan. And I'm not done trying to figure out a way to pull a vacuum on this. Do have some options. Okay, this actually pulled a vacuum. All I did was got my biggest fitting, shoved it down in that pipe. I do have this fitting with some Teflon tape. This is just a 1/2-inch cast iron pipe cap with some Teflon tape on it. And if it was leaking, this did not feel very tight when it bottomed out. So that would be my suspected place if it did start leaking. It is holding like a rock now, right at 20 where I had it set. So that's been good 15, almost 20 minutes. So I'm gonna let it sit another hour and just see how it does. Didn't get much accomplished today. I mean, I did and I didn't. It did some testing of things and located things and started cleaning things. And at the end of the day, it's a productive day. Things like this take time, like testing a heater core and getting the fittings you need, and testing the evaporator and getting the fittings you need, and figuring things out. And you know, when you don't have any of this, you've never done any of this stuff, so it's new, it's hard, it's a learning experience as much as anything. So I am a little bit like, I did not get anything put together today. But I think today was spent more educating myself, checking some things like we know now. So let's go look at this. It's been a little over an hour, and my evaporator core is still exactly the same. Tomorrow my plan is to get this and this in the car and get this on its way to being pieced back together. Doing some quick modifications on my emergency brake here. So Nick Pepe's video, Vintage Thunderbird, he mentioned adding a second spring, which mine actually, looking back at old pictures, I had 0 springs on mine. So let's see, pull the vacuum, the canister does work. And I'm assuming that there's something in the car that you activate this vacuum to this cylinder and it releases the little mechanism that locks the e-brake in place. But basically this is just to show that to go back to its natural state, the one spring pulls it very slowly. Second string's installed, and there you see I've got about 18 pounds of vacuum, or inches of vacuum. I'm gonna release it. See how fast it goes back. It's a little faster, still not super fast. Yeah, not much faster. Well, parking brake is installed. It wasn't, well, I do actually got to go back under the car and hook up the cable again to get it to clasp back here and get this pin set. I had to undo the mechanism underneath the car to get enough slack in the cable to hook it up. So now I'm gonna go back under there and try to, shouldn't be hard to fight it back together down there, because that is where all the adjustment is. I had another piece installed, and it went pretty easy. It's just 3 screws. This back one is back here is kind of difficult, but with an extension and a light you can see it and get it started. Get these 2 lined up and my holes lined up good, so it went right in. So what the guy told me about the heater core, can't repair that tube that has a hole in it, and there aren't like direct replacement parts. So basically he's going to take the top and bottom, I guess they're brazed, melt that, pull them apart, and try to find something to piece it together. He acted pretty confident, said that we do this quite a bit. And it may just be him finding, he did mention this, finding one that is close enough and just a whole replacement part. Yeah, evaporator sits down in this slot right here. Of course, your blower fan goes right there. I believe this, I don't know if you can see that, but the defrost vent part sits on top of that. And yeah, and I believe that on the ground down there, which I think you can see that, bolts up right there. So I'm gonna slide this in. And these aluminum pins on this thing are so soft, and I really need, they have like a comb you can get to straighten these back out. Don't have one, so I'm just going to do my best to try not to mess them up anymore. Put the holes there, and I'm pretty sure at this point, so there are some 3 holes there, but I think, look at this. I believe this bolts on. Yeah, so this gets up here. This. And I'm well aware that I'll probably be putting stuff together and taking stuff back apart on this. Probably no doubt on that. But yeah, so that'll go on first. Then that'll go on there. So yeah, I gotta, the screws that go in this gotta go through this also. So that's what I wanted to check. But first thing I gotta do is this bolted down. And before I do that, I wanna check this vacuum cylinder, check this vacuum cylinder, and I know there's one that is going to go back on the back here. I got to figure out which one it is. I have a couple of loose ones. But yeah, that's basically the gist of putting this part back together. I'm going to stop and test some vacuum cylinders. Okay, I am just testing vacuum cylinders. So the one on this trapdoor worked perfect. And I'm pretty sure I'd checked that one before. This one, I'm not sure where it mounts. I'll figure that out later, but it works. You can see it actuating, and it holds a vacuum. So far, every one of them is checked out. The emergency brake one worked. One on that trapdoor worked. The one on this, this is, I believe it is the AC compressor switch, I think. This vacuum pulls that arm back and probably completes the circuit, I'm sure. They did have a toggle switch running to my compressor, and so if this is the compressor switch, I'm assuming that maybe the switch is bad because the vacuum canister worked. Got to do some research on this. I think Nick Pepe has a video on one on vintage Thunderbird, so got some learning to do on this. And if y'all are wondering what I'm using, this is Mighty Vac. I've seen these several guys' channels, and it is very handy. And you can swap from vacuum to pressure, so you can test things different ways. Now there is this vacuum switch that mounts right here. I know Nick Pepe in one of his videos talking about all this vacuum lines, he bypassed this. Well, hell. So, problems, right? You see this gap here. And I told y'all about how I broke this fan blower. Trying to take it off and clean it up, and I got the same size, and this is actually, I think, slightly smaller diameter, and the width was actually the same. Problem is, the old one back there, the plate wasn't flat, it was recessed where you could shove this down closer to that shroud. So the options I have are to find a narrower wheel, which would probably move less air. Could possibly build like standoffs out of, you know, metal and bolt that through, and then figure out a way to seal it around there. Obviously you can see the issues that would cause, probably could cause other issues. Yeah, like, you know, trying to seal it. Damn, I wish I wouldn't have taken this damn thing apart. So, y'all just heed my advice. Sometimes some things are best left alone. Just, yeah, clean it up a little bit best you can, but you don't have to take everything all the way apart all the time. That was the issue with that. That fan blower wheel was stuck on the shaft. It had like a burr on it, and I ruined the wheel taking it off. Had to find a replacement, and that is a very close replacement, but not the exact same thing. And these are not cheap. They're $80 a piece.
2,000 years later.
All right, welcome to Buck Don't Know Shit. I am home. Been gone for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that. And trying to just wrap my head around where I was. I know I was working on this AC heater Plenum. I do have some things that came in, a new blower wheel, squirrel cage, hamster wheel, whatever, blower. That should fit. It is slightly smaller than the original. We talked about that some. Yeah, just a different design. I couldn't find one exactly like the one I broke. So, gotta go with slightly narrower wheel. Hopefully it won't be an issue. I don't think it will be a big issue, but we will see. Yeah, so I've got everything I need to complete it now. I got the blower wheel, which we talked about, and I've got this guy, a heater core, basically brand new. Can't buy these anymore. Thunderbird dealers, Bird's Nest, Larry's Thunderbird. No giddy, you ain't getting one of these. So what I did, took mine to a radiator shop, and he basically found the closest thing he could to it, cut the, I guess, the core part out of it, and reattached the tubes, inlet and outlet, from my old one. So he basically had to fabricate this from a new one and my old one to get basically a new heater core. And it was $195. So that, which was about what a new one would have been, I believe. I think that's kind of what they ran. I'm thinking they were a little less than 200. I'm happy. Like he said, this should last another 20 years. So we should not have to worry about heater cores anymore. Some much needed rain. So yeah, not a you see my grass is like dead, and it hasn't been cold yet, so it's not been cold weather. What I'm doing over here, yeah, I had to get this guy run in here, and a couple bolts I was missing there. I got this bolted on, 2 studs sticking out with 2 1032 nuts, very small. So yeah, just about to put this front back on, this guy, and then I think I've got one cylinder I got to put on here. I got a little metal bracket that kind of goes on the back of here. It's kind of a cover. This right here, yeah, it sits back here somewhere. Got to get it mounted, and figure out which one of these cylinders. I know it closes that door, or opens that door, I should say, which I think that just would cool your feet, I'm guessing. All right, I'm making progress. I know it looks kind of slow, but it is. I have all of my, except for the one that goes on the heater box, this one here, have all of my vacuum cylinders hooked up, attached. I got 1, 2, 3 that was already made up, 4 for that switch, 5 for this door back here, and then there's one, well, that's it. So yeah, 5 of these, and then that makes 6. So got all them. I've got my blower wheel set to the right depth to where it just kind of rides right inside here. And I am about to mount this on the back. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of this caulk sealant in there. All right, I'm just gonna install this little blower motor. I'm putting some strip caulk around this. This is just 3M strip caulk. Got it off Amazon. It has come in handy for a few things so far. I would say probably a good thing, just buy you a box of this. Makes stuff like this really easy. All right, now all I gotta do is find the right screws for these, which I think will be these guys. Pretty good, I think. A little like new paint. These bolts won't rust. They're a little rusty. All right, that project is done. Let's see what it looks like. I guess I should have. I did line it up, set it. Yeah, I like that. Bring it in there, show you what I got going on. Yep, so it fits. It's like I said, this is a slightly smaller diameter than the old one, but the old one sat in a little further, so that is what I had to go with. Now I can actually bolt the heater box to that. It goes on those 4 studs right there. There's the old heater box. Yeah, and that's where it mounts onto there. Yep, I do got to put a little more caulk around here, and I think I'm going to put a little in there to kind of help seal that area up. This one I need to try to keep together and not stretch as much. Yeah, and all I'm doing here is just kind of filling up this gap so that air doesn't, or not much air will blow back out, you know, around here. So nothing fancy. Don't know that I needed to do this. I'm just wondering if it would be easier to put the heater core in now. Probably would. I haven't even fitted it, just make sure that it fits. That'll be something interesting. And it does, looks like. A couple things I need to do. I need to put some, there was some caulking material, I think it was a foam type, but I will put this in there and it will be fine. Just trying to get paint on some things that we'll never see again, probably. But just to help things last a little bit longer. Oh, I do got the caulk on there already. Okay. Just gotta line these damn bolts up. This would be a major pain in the butt to do in the car under the dash. I have seen guys do it, and I have a lot of respect for them. That's it. It's on there. You can see. I'll bring it in here. I think you'll be able to see it. But that is how it sits in there. You see the 4 studs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a nut on them, tighten this up, and this is in place. Then all I need is the cover plate. Got the little fresh air door that goes over here. That's that guy there. And this guy sits up here, like that. And that lets your hot air in. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I think that's it for the day. Got trick-or-treaters coming, so I need to be ready to hand out candy. This was a major undertaking. So I mean, it's not really. It wasn't bad at all. Just had to watch a lot of videos, see where things went. Yeah, I mean, this was one of those things I was not looking forward to putting back together, and it really wasn't that bad at all, really. And I think I got it right. Got a couple more things. Get that on. Get the hoses on. Got a clamp. Holds those hoses in place. And yeah, I think that's it. Man, it looks pretty good, and I think it's going to look real good in the car. So, yep, I'm excited, and everything works on it. That's the other thing. So everything's been checked and tested, ready to go, and a brand new heater core. Seems like brand new.